images, the types of technology, the labor that goes into them, were they able to so clearly codify the idea that this image is loaded or sort of dense with kind of political aspirations in a way that in the contemporary moment I don't necessarily know what a sort of leftist aesthetics would mean, for example. And so using these and using this historical moment, which was really clear in terms of like the relationship between aesthetics and what they were sort of speaking to, as a model to work through my sort of visual representations of these conspiracy holes. And so this one is called The War on Proof, and this was thinking about just the sort of general kind of crisis of like epistemology or of knowledge production, and the sort of separation of the idea of sort of an overall kind of the truth of a political narrative or the truth of a political struggle being separated from the presentation of facts. And so facts taking primacy over the sort of idea of an overarching notion of truth, and thinking of the ways in which this forms really bizarre alliances. And so in this one I was thinking of the sort of really fringe, maybe Alex Jones InfoWars, sort of like right-wing, just like a pundit who's obsessed with the idea of war and also loves to read like Tacitus and sort of like classics books on like warfare, and is obsessed with like the presence of the Greco-Roman Empire and like even kind of like a homosocial environment as this like ideal in which Western society is built, and the like sort of paranoia over the lack of greatness that might breed in the sort of contemporary context, the crisis of masculinity, etc. But how that person can find themselves at the same sort of like, and drawing on the same facts as someone who is coming from a sort of a kind of like Hotep perspective of wanting to reclaim an idea of a pre-colonial African history, but also kind of a rereading of European history, where the prevalence of the Greco-Roman Empire is actually just the first instance of the Illuminati, and man on boy and sort of like pederastic culture and homosocial culture between men become the foundations for the sort of gayness or homosexuality or queerness as inherently white, and how both of these situations sort of abstract this one as these like moments of historical truth or factness, and kind of use them to spin this sort of these sort of narratives that I think are both coming from a place of disenfranchisement, political, economic disenfranchisement, and so share similar aspirations in certain ways, but obviously are like fundamentally at odds in other ways. And I was using the idea, I really liked the idea of like the button as a sort of like an example of like the mutation of questions of kind of like political aesthetics. And so in what ways was the